Hi, welcome back to another episode of Coldstream Rod Shop. I'm Derek Fraser. In this week's episode, we're going to be working on 32 Fords again. What we hope to do on the 5-window coupe this week is wrap up some of the woodwork on the inside, or at least move it along as far as we can. I've got some of the stuff half made up in the shop, so we'll show you what we've got going on with that and what we're going to do to move it forward. The 35 pickup bed, later today, I'm going to disassemble that. And I've said many times already throughout the videos, the subframe is going to go out, get sandblasted and epoxy primed to come back in. I don't know what we will do on this episode because I'm not sure of the timeline on the subframe, how long it's going to go out to get sandblasted and epoxy primed. So at the minimum, we're going to disassemble it. The 35 bed, the new one behind us, I'm not sure when that's going to go out to get epoxied, so they're kind of sitting still right now. The primary work, like I said, will be on the 5-window coupe, and then we're also going to get going on some of the stuff on the Camera Ladies 32 Roadster. I'm just not sure what, so follow along and see what we're up to. Well, today the original 35 pickup bed and the subframe, as well as the whole frame, left. The owner chose to take it home and get it cleaned up. He needs the frame for something else. The subframe, he is going to get it sandblasted, kind of like I've been saying before. He may very well bring it back. Just not sure if it's going to be brought back next because he's got a lot of projects for us to do. He has asked us if we can to epoxy prime the box ourselves. So if weather permitting over the next couple of weeks, what we'll do is we'll clean that down and we'll epoxy prime the box for him. We have to do the grill shell and the hood for the Camera Ladies Roadster as well. So I'm not sure if it's going to be on this episode or not. But what I did, I took the opportunity. It's spring, first day of spring, yeehaw. It's not snowing, so it's all good. What I did, I opened the garage doors up, the back window up, and I blew the dust off of everything, swept the floor. Kind of like to have things cleaned up once in a while. And what that's going to do is make me feel better, first of all. And then secondly, what I'm going to do is start working on the rear wood for the 5-window coupe. One of these pieces I had previously made up for the driver's side. I did have to cut a reveal in the side of here, and that is for one of the, there's a metal support that either goes one way or the other, down from the back corner down here. So it should be going, it goes forward, I think. Anyways, I'll figure that out. I did make these notches on these pieces of wood identical to the originals. I'm going to go double check the originals right now because something doesn't seem right. The other thing is that we don't have one of these supports, so I need to make one of those up as well as a couple of brackets. So like I said, what I'll be working on next is getting those in place, making some of the brackets up, and then hopefully starting on the top wood, which is also missing, or the wood around the back window. I'm going to check and see which patterns I have in the shop and then start on whichever one that is next. So we're out in the garage today working on the wood on the 32 5-window coupe. On last week's episode, I removed that piece of trim that went up underneath on the top of the door, inside of the door frame. I'm not sure what this piece of trim is called. Anyways, it's a metal trim that goes up in the door entranceway at the top. Door cover, anyways, whatever. One thing I've forgotten is that there's a small piece of wood. You can just see it there. It's kind of hanging right now. We're going to put a couple nails into it to put it back in place. But after I took that trim off, I realized there's a little piece of wood that goes along there. I'll zoom in a little bit. You can see like that. So we have to make one of those for the driver's side. So took a bunch of measurements, went in the shop, got this piece in place right now. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to nail it up here on this piece. Maybe put just a little bit of wood glue onto it to put it in place, but we'll finish off that top header piece with this piece of trim. Worst case later on, if we have to trim it any, we can just come along with a mini grinder with a flapper disc or something to trim the excess off. But I was quite careful in taking my measurements to make this piece. So we'll put that on there for now, and hopefully Toddy finish up that one piece of wood before we go to the next thing. Well, today I'm back in the wood shop. I am making the wood that goes around the roof opening. Now, what I have is I have some pretty rotted pieces from when I did the New York coupe and the Moncton coupe. There was bits and pieces left over from that I used for patterns. I am using red oak mostly, about 2 1/4 to 2.5 inches thick. I've got some slabs here. Some of it's good, some of it's okay. But all I'm doing is I'm taking the original pieces, laying it out on a piece of red oak, and I'm going to the bandsaw. And as you can see here, cut pieces off. So I'm left with this rough shape. The rough shape, then I'm going to take over to the bench over here. And actually here, I'll take this, I'll put it in the vise, the wooden vise here, and I'm going to belt sand the crap out of it till I get a nice smooth contour. I will use the belt sander here, the stationary one as well, to try and get the finish. So far today, I've been working at it for quite a while. I didn't videotape it because this isn't a woodworking channel. We build hot rods. I guess the point being, if you've got a wood shop or access to one or someone with it, take the old patterns, lay them up against a piece of hardwood, and essentially start cutting and sanding and shaping until you get it to the shape that you need. I have the 2 side pieces right here already formed and cut and holes drilled. I only ever had one side. I never had 2 sides, so basically have to do a mirror image of the other one. This is the forward section that goes in closest to the windshield. So there's 4 pieces to it, basically make a square. But in the back corners, there's a little gusset they put in there. I'll cover that later as soon as I can get to it. But for now, what I'm doing, I'm making these 4 blanks up. That's the back section there. I'm gonna finish sanding that, and then what I'll be doing, I'll be fitting them together into one big square. It's not quite a square because I think either the back or the front is wider than the other one. So I'm not sure what the geometry is, the name for that, but it's almost a square, close enough. So anyways, I'm going to carry on with some sanding, and then what'll happen, we'll do some fitting because these notches are cut approximately. They have to fit into each other and fit flat. So even when I did it the last time for the other 2 coupes, it was make the pieces and then use the chisels and everything else to basically form a nice joint here. And then as you can see from the original, there was 2 screws in each corner. Anyways, I'm going to finish sanding that, get the pieces up, and show you the process of laying them out and screwing the corners. Now that I have the back section all rough sanded basically into the shape I want it, it's time to start trial fitting the stuff. So as you can see, as I brought the joints in, they're not that great. So they're close, and that's okay. So I left meat on the inside of the joints. What we want to do now is I'm going to square up these corners. I'll remove some material on the bottom so this corner will be perfectly flush. I'm going to bring it down as close as I can, and I'll sand it because the sheet metal is actually going to be nailed along here, and then the same thing along the front. More than likely, I'll be cutting this like that. I'll relieve it so that it'll come in, and I'll work on all 4 corners till we have nice. And same thing over here. We've got a little bit I'll have to take off of there, and then it's it's in actually pretty good condition here. It's pretty close. I might have to sand this joint or use a small, well, I don't know where it went. Yep, use a small little rabbit plane here, and I will shave a little bit off this joint so that we have a nice smooth joint. Once I have everything fitting nicely, then we'll screw holes into it, and then probably sand everything so that all four corners are nice and smooth. If you can see down there, it's a little bit high on the outside, so more than likely, once I do fit it, I'm either going to slope this piece a little bit, just maybe slope it a little bit down, but also I'll take the belt sander and I'll belt sand all the way around here, because we want to, like I said, we want a nice smooth fit up underneath the sheet metal. Coming along nicely on the wood for the top of the 5-window. I've got everything screwed in place. I've got all the corners sanded smooth so that when the sheet metal comes around the corner, there's no high spots or whatever. So in addition, I put the gussets in the back here. I did not glue them in. The originals are just screwed in place. So basically 2 screws going in here and 1 going there. It just reinforces the corner. And again, the same thing, belt sanded this smooth and continuous along there. There's 3 cross braces or straps or whatever to go across the top. They're just made out of 3/4 inch oak. Not much to them. They're pretty thin. I had an original over here that I kept from, I think, the Moncton Coupe or the New York Coupe or whatever. So I used that as a copy. All 3 of them are not the same size, so, but basically they have the same bow to them. So just take the same profile and just made it a little bit wider. So we've got 3 of those now. I just have to get some screws because they're ran out of screws. One other thing that I haven't done before, I'm going to go look and see if the dome light is out amongst the parts, because there's a dome light wooden bracket that either goes here or here. Gonna go check and see if we have it. If we have it, I'll make a bracket for the dome light as well, and hopefully in a very short period of time we'll be in a position to stick this in the coupe. Here's the finished wood top for the 32 5-window coupe. I completed making the pieces across the top. I think I just covered that earlier. Everything's screwed in place. And then there's a bracket here for the dome light. So I have an original dome light here that will fit up underneath like that. That's the way they were put in. In this particular case, the owner's got one. He wants to use it, so we made the bracket for it. The one other thing he asked me to do was put a couple coats of urethane on this, because he doesn't know if he's going to put the vinyl top on right away or at what point in the future he's going to do it. So he hasn't solved that problem. So normally the wood, I don't clear coat it. There's nothing wrong with putting a clear coat and sealing it, but for the most part, the wood is covered normally by vinyl, or on the inside the upholstery attaches to it. It's just, it's a little bit structural in the 32 5-window coupe, but it's also a lot to do with what you can attach the upholstery to. In this case, this wooden structure actually provides rigidity to the top of the coupe, so it's kind of important. But a lot of times when people are filling in the roof, they won't put the wood in place. They'll just put an insert in there, and sometimes maybe put a little bit of reinforcing across the bottom, but it's not absolutely necessary. Anyways, in this case here, we've got a couple coats of urethane onto it. What I'm going to do next, I'm going to take it and put it in the coupe. So here's a bracket right there. It's a support. Well, my finger is not focusing right, but this support here, it goes from the bottom of the B-pillar up to the window wood. It's to support the window wood. We were missing one on the passenger side. It's relatively straightforward to make. Just made it up out of 18 gauge, took a flat piece of stock,
like that. It's actually a little narrower than that, but a 1/4 inch bends on either side. This is the piece here that I've made up. So basically take it, bend either side on it like that, and then hammer the other end flat, drill a couple holes, and there we are. We've got another bracket. So going to put that on the driver's side here, and there's another little L-shaped bracket that we're missing that supports it right here. This is made out of something a little heavier, so I have to make one of these up to fit over on that corner there as well. So we'll make one of those up, get those on, and then hopefully we'll have all this wood screwed in place in a few minutes. So the little L bracket was a little thicker than I thought. I thought it was like 14 gauge, so I made up this little piece at first, but it actually turned out to be 1/8 or 125. So same thing, I think it was 1.25 inches wide, and then 2.5 inches long with 2.25 inches on either side. And then we're gonna drill, well, I did drill a couple holes to support it. I mean, it's just straightforward, looks like something you would buy at a hardware store to put a shelf in place, but that is it right there. Of course, this is Canada, so we're using the Robertson screws. It's basically what we have, so that's screwed in place. I've got the support put in place. Instead of using a rivet down here at the bottom, I just use a 1/4 nut and bolt. And then again, just 2 screws up top here. We still have to nail the sheet metal to the wood, but we'll do that later. But right now, that's all in place and supported well. And I think what I'm gonna do now, I'm going to try putting that roof wood in. So there's the wood from the shop I showed you earlier. I've got it stuck up inside of the roof and a bunch of F-clamps holding it in place. I've gone around with the measuring tape and centered it as best I could. Actually centered it really well. Fits quite nicely in there. I'm not seeing anything serious as far as metal work that I've got to do. The metal looks as though it's going to conform to the wood, or the wood conform to the shape of the metal. So that's ultimately what we're looking for. I'm going to go get some screws now, and I've got to put a whole bunch of screws in every one of those holes all the way around. They're little number 4 screws. Have to probably drill one and put each one in. So I'll have that done here shortly, and looks as though wood is in. Well, almost in the roof of the 5-window coupe. And there we have it. We've got the roof wood in. There is 46 or 50 little screws on the top that hold the sheet metal down. I think they're number 4s. And then we've got some number 10 screws here going across the header, which hold it in place. But went in really nice. I was very happy with it. Contours are good. Everything laid flat on the wood. The shape of the roof is good. I mean, I didn't see anything that was going to make me think it wasn't going to be good, but you never know. When you screw some of this stuff down and clamp something down, some other spot will pop out on you. But right now, that's the roof wood. There's one little bracket I still have left to make. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it made in this episode or not. I'll try and show you where it is. Yeah, there's a little metal support here that goes into the top header wood, and then there's a through bolt that goes through here onto that bolt to hold it in place. We're missing that over on that side, so I still have to make that yet. So that's it for another week of Coldstream Rod Shop. Basically only worked on the 32 5-window coupe. We did the wood around the rear windows, some brackets, and the roof wood. That took up all my time this week. Unfortunately, I lost a couple of days because I got nailed with a little bit of a cold flu thing, so haven't had one of those for a long time. I think it's been 2 or 3 years it happens, so anyway. You have to slow down once in a while. But anyways, we still made significant progress on this. Like I said, the roof wood's in, the rear wood is in. I was kind of hoping to get working on the rear window, but well, that's for another day. And there's still a few more brackets to work on this. So anyways, that's it for another week of Coldstream Rod Shop. Back on, well,
32 Fords. That's what we work on most of the time, I think. Please like, share, tag, and subscribe. Come on back next week, see what we're up to. And everybody have a great week. Take care.